Massive news in the world of MMA as the return of Conor McGregor has officially been announced by himself. So after the Bare Knuckle FC event that took place in Marbella, Spain on Saturday, Conor McGregor was asked when will he return to the UFC and who will his opponent be, to which he responded saying Dan Hooker in Saudi Arabia in February. That's massive. Massive news. Dana White did say they wanted to get Conor McGregor back out there early 2025. This is starting to make sense. We know Conor McGregor has a really good relationship with Turkey Al Sheikh, who runs all the sporting events out in Saudi. We know the UFC are trying to build a relationship with those guys over there as they held their first event in Saudi last year and had Riyadh Season as a big sponsor to the UFC 306 card. I think this could be likely. I really do. I think the UFC would obviously love to have McGregor headline out in Vegas again, but I feel like they will do this in Saudi Arabia. I think just with the relationship Conor McGregor has with Turkey Al Sheikh and the relationship the UFC are trying to build with them, I think they will have McGregor headline a card out there. I really, really do. And Dan Hooker as the opponent. I made a video a while back whenever there was rumours of Conor versus Terence Crawford. I didn't think that was going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I did think Dan Hooker would have been a possible opponent for McGregor, because let's not forget, Dan Hooker did go out to the Bare Knuckle FC event to corner Oscar Willis, I believe, the guy from the Mac Life. But before he went over there, Dan Hooker also said that he had planned on speaking with Conor McGregor about a potential fight. And you've seen clips from the Marbella, Spain Bare Knuckle FC event. Conor McGregor was with Dan Hooker and they were talking about stuff. I think this is the perfect fight to make. This is such a fun fight. Obviously, I would have liked to have seen Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje, but I would rather see Dan Hooker versus Conor McGregor, purely because of the fact I think this is such a winnable matchup for Conor McGregor, and I am a McGregor fanboy. I'll hold my hands up. Dan Hooker is obviously number 5 ranked in the lightweight division, so the UFC will be really keen to make this matchup, as if McGregor is able to beat Dan Hooker, he's right back into the top 5, and you could give him a title shot off that because he'll be ranked inside the top 5. And I think this is just a better matchup instead of waiting to see what happens with Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira. Fuck that. Michael Chandler lost his opportunity. Do not give that guy this McGregor fight. Let's move on. Let's give it to Dan Hooker, a guy who's also very exciting to watch, a very fan-friendly fight style, and someone that the fans genuinely actually like. People actually like Dan Hooker. A lot of people don't like Michael Chandler. They like his fight style, but a lot of people seem to just hate on Michael Chandler. Now, in terms of who I think would win this matchup, for me, I'm going to say Conor McGregor. Dan Hooker is an out-and-out striker. He does not grapple. He's just a pure striker and will choose to stand with Conor McGregor. And in my opinion, McGregor is the better striker out of the two. And I think that's clear. I think a lot of people would agree with me on that statement, that McGregor is the better striker. Also, Dan Hooker is very tough and durable, but he is easily hit at times. And I think the power that McGregor carries would hurt Dan Hooker, and I think he would be able to put Dan Hooker away. My early prediction would be a Conor McGregor finish, but I don't know if that's just me being nostalgic or what, or thinking back to what Conor McGregor was, because let's not forget, in McGregor's the last time we seen McGregor obviously was when he broke his leg against Dustin Poirier. He didn't look great at the start. He landed a good couple of shots in there against Poirier, but Poirier kind of started to walk through him, let's be honest. Now, I think Dustin Poirier is a better fighter than what Dan Hooker is. To be honest, I think Dustin Poirier is a way better fighter than Dan Hooker. The fight that Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker had wasn't seeing all, so I wouldn't mind seeing that rematch. But I think on the feet, Poirier is a better striker than what Hooker is, and he carries a lot more power. Plus, we've seen in the last McGregor fight with Poirier that McGregor ended up spending large portions of that fight on his back, and Poirier just blitzing him with shots with some wicked ground and pound. I don't think we see that from Dan Hooker. That's not his fight style. I think this will be an out-and-out kickboxing matchup on the feet, and I expect McGregor to win. I think he's a better striker than what Dan Hooker is, and I think McGregor will KO Dan Hooker and then go on to KO Islam Makhachev. Maybe not the second part, but I do think McGregor will KO Dan Hooker. I'm looking forward to this. I think this is the perfect matchup. Let me know your opinions in the comments below, and as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you again in the next one.